HYBE's Orange Blood is a fantastic addition to their discography, and I think it might be like one of my favorites of theirs. But I have one massive complaint. Their title track, Sweet Venom, was only 2 minutes and 27 seconds, and this is not the first song to be so short. And HYBE's Blessed Cursed, for example, was 2 minutes and 51 seconds in length, even though the music video itself actually came up to just over 3 minutes. But HYBE isn't the only one. Here's a few more. New Jeans, ASAP and Cool With You, Hype Boy was just under 3 minutes. Actually, Attention even was under 3 minutes in length. Le Seraphim's recent release, Perfect Tonight, TXT's Do It Like That and Back for More are both under 3 minutes in length. And a lot of these music videos were title tracks, the main focus of promotion, not just album B-sides, which are historically different lengths. And these are all very recent, released in the last year or so. Okay, so in the Billboard article, here's why shorter songs are surging and why some welcome it, the author Elias Light quoted quite a few studies that had been done on the matter. A 2018 study by San Francisco-based engineer Michael Tauberg concluded that songs on the Billboard Hot 100 shed around 40 seconds since 2000, falling from 4 minutes and 10 seconds-ish to roughly 3 minutes and 30 seconds. The average length of the top 50 tracks on Billboard's year-end Hot 100 in 2021 was even less, a mere 3 minutes and 7 seconds. And 3 minutes and 7 seconds checks out. Just look at the song lengths for recent title tracks. And some of these are with music videos, which means there's often like a logo and stuff on top of it. And I haven't been the only person to notice this sort of trend. I asked on both Twitter and here in the YouTube community posts, and most people seem to agree they prefer mid-length songs of about 3 to 4 minutes long, with some people preferring even longer songs and some who preferred shorter songs. However, interestingly, people who commented that they preferred shorter songs all mentioned one specific thing. And this caught my attention because I think it's actually the main reason why companies create songs so short in the first place: streaming. And I understand that. If a song is only 2.5 minutes versus almost 4 minutes, you can listen to it markedly more times in, say, half an hour than you can if it's twice the length. It's like double the streams for a single song. And in terms of numbers for marketing and analytics, this is a really good thing. Let's take a focused look at &TEAM, Big Hit's first Japan-focused group. Their debut music video on YouTube, which is usually a heavily watched endeavor, sits at 9.1 million as of writing this, and it is nearly 5 minutes long. For their other music videos since, Scent of You sits at 7.9 million, Fireworks sits at 5.8 million, and Road Not Taken sits at only 2.4 million. All of which are about 3.5 minutes in length, and the Firework music video is 4 minutes and 31 seconds long. So that would mean the opposite, right? Well, their most recent music video and comeback, War Cry, has already got over 10 million views, and it's not nearly had the same amount of time to aggregate these views. It does definitely seem like in this case, the shorter length did help their view count, and that's likely because it's easier for fans to stream a shorter song. Now, this is not the only determining factor, but I purposefully used a group like &TEAM because they have a smaller fandom, so the numbers are a little bit more telling in terms of analytics. Now, a song's success doesn't hinge only on length. I won't get into that because I don't know all the factors of a song's success. If I did, I would probably have several hit singles right now. You know, in an alternate universe where I could actually sing. Chasing that feeling. So, people like shorter songs because they're easier to stream, and that obviously helps the group. And that's valid, at least from the sample size of, one. It was a sample size, it was just, I just looked at &TEAM. Shorter songs get the group better numbers and more visibility. And often they pack everything they can musically into those 2-minute something songs, leading to some very intense and upbeat tracks with basically no downtime throughout the entirety of the song. So that can be pretty awesome. If you prefer it because you can stream it a lot, does it affect how much you actually like the song? Fans want to support their favorite artists. Streaming is easily the #1 most accessible way to do that. So empirically, I completely understand this. I also think that this affects the company's decisions to make, shorter songs. There are a lot of benefits to having it shorter. But I do often wonder, do you actually like the song at that point, or are you just listening to it for the numbers? I think that's something that needs to be considered. I'm not trying to call anyone out for this, and I don't even think it's inherently a bad thing. Also, since I specifically talked about it, I do love Wardcry, I love Anteam, I love what they're doing as a group. I do obviously wish it was longer. That's my personal feeling. Just like how I wish HYBE's Sweet Venom was a little bit longer. I personally want to hear the song change halfway through. Pitch changes, ad-libs that show off the singer's abilities, raps that make me want to shout because of how cool they sound. I want to hear more of the message that they're trying to share to the world. But yes, I'm a little biased, so let's go back and look at your comments that you guys made before. I noticed that people who answered that they preferred longer songs liked it for more artistic reasons. Similar to myself. They liked the way the bridge of the song changed the vibe. They liked the story potential of longer songs, both in the song itself and for the music video that gets made for that song. This is not surprising because a lot of my audience is around for story reasons. That's like kind of why they're here. In fact, I would even like to put up a disclaimer that even though I got an overwhelming amount of responses from people who like longer songs or are interested in songs that are mid-length or longer, that my audience is especially skewed towards that demographic of people. It's literally skewed towards the direction of people who like narrative songs in the first place. A lot of people who follow or watch my videos and my content and engage with the things that I post are people who, like music videos like TXT's Eternally, which is famously almost 20 minutes long. The music video, that is. It's terrible for streaming. Yeah, it's currently at 11 million views 3 years out. Compare that to their current Chasing That Feeling music video, which sits at 78 million as of writing and recording this, which is, by the way, a music video that is mid-length. And it came out like only just over a month ago. It speaks for itself. I wonder if this is why, for example, for a lot of TXT's discography, up till this year with like Do It Like That and Back for More, they have actually been longer songs, especially when it comes to ones that were made into music videos. There's a lot of story there for them to share, and it just cannot be done to the same degree when a whole minute gets shaved off of the time. I would love to talk to like Jordan Orm about this, because I feel like he would have really good insight on the industry because he's like a music video editor. So yeah, Jordan, if you're watching this, please send me an email. Of course, I'm gonna say this again, Eternally was not a title track, which should definitely be taken into consideration. Title tracks just do better compared to B-side music videos. Of course, Eternally, not a title track, like I said, which should be considered. But even compared to other B-side music videos, that's a lower number of streams. That's a lower number of views on YouTube. But I actually like the odd B-side to be shorter or longer because it lets the artist play with their sound a little bit. However, coming back to the whole numbers thing, I might not be the person with the next formula of success in the music industry, but of course there is a particular app that has done a whole lot to shift the music industry. From making underground songs go viral overnight to creating its own number of successes within it, TikTok has affected the music industry in an undeniable way. The most recent example that I can think of, and can actually reference the song because I know it well, is Strangers by Kenya Grace. It was literally originally a TikTok of just a chorus, I believe, that just got a lot of attention. And now it's a whole banger song, which, wait for it, is only 2 minutes and 52 seconds long. Close to, but still not yet passing that 3-minute mark. Curious. In a Vice article, they said that Spotify's own sorting system sort of leads into this same formula by quoting Mark Ronson. Mark Ronson didn't sound particularly enamored in 2019 when he said, "All your songs have to be under 3 minutes and 15 seconds, because if people don't listen to them all the way to the end, they go into this ratio of non-complete heard, which sends your Spotify rating down." TikTok used to have 1 minute max length videos, and in fact many popular TikToks used to be much shorter, before of course they increased it to a 3-minute max length and then 10 minutes max length, with word of them experimenting with 15-minute long uploads. However, these shorter length videos likely fed into the whole music industry making songs shorter in the first place, since songs trending on TikTok largely affect the success and streams of the song. However, I will say, Spotify, I'm looking at you, you're not innocent in this either. Like, really, it's just adding to the whole problem. In fact, I would like to say that sometime around the rise of TikTok, especially in correlation to March 2020, when we were all staying inside and you know, everyone was using their phones a lot more and on the internet. That's also when this trend of shorter songs sort of started to really accelerate, although I've noticed a lot in just the past year now that things even have started reopening. It's like the trend never really went away. And of course, in this time, TikTok has gained even more prominence. It's even become something that I think is used more among young people, specifically teenagers, who of course are the target audience for K-pop. And TikTok has a lot more use among this age range than I think even apps like YouTube and Instagram these days. In fact, remember that 2018 Billboard study that I quoted earlier? That was posted around the same time that TikTok first became what it is today. It literally became branded as TikTok in 2018. This was highlighting the sort of trend that was emerging within the market. And the reason for this is because it was already leaning towards short-form content. So, you know, TikTok just filled the void of short-form content that we had never had before. And of course, 2020 is when they had a massive jump in users. So that 2021 quoted number from earlier of 3 minutes and 7 seconds almost directly correlates with the app's rise in popularity. Of course, this was just from a single study and a couple articles, so there's always like other forces at work here, but I do just find this correlation interesting. And of course, when it comes to K-pop in 2020 or 2021, that was also when a lot of idol groups sort of jumped onto the platform and began to actually use it for their dance challenges and just fun little videos. I actually kind of love the TikTok challenge form of like advertising that's happened. We've actually seen some collaborations between idols that I could never have dreamed of like 5 years ago, and I'm not kidding. For people who love multiple groups or groups that span across different generations, it's a dream come true. So this, paired with dance challenges that kind of feel like everyone can join in or challenge themselves, seems like a perfect way to, you know, raise visibility and increase engagement with the songs. I do think choreography, particularly in choruses, have actually gotten simpler over the past couple of years, but that's a topic for another video. Though, I would love to hear what you think about that. Like, do you feel like choreography has changed in response to TikTok trends? Please let me know what you think below, because I'm genuinely very curious about this. But a lot of the time, sounds on TikTok trend not because of the dances necessarily. There's a lot of factors other than maybe a TikTok dance. Maybe this is just the side of TikTok that I'm on. I mean, everyone has a different user experience. That's literally in TikTok, is that the algorithm is very catered to you. But I noticed that a lot of time the songs and the sounds that I'm seeing trending aren't just doing so because of the dances. They're doing so because of their transition abilities or their storytelling capabilities, since not everyone is really able to or wants to be dancing on TikTok. They might not be comfortable doing so, or maybe their niche is just something different, and they make that work for them. Think of HYBE's Polaroid Love. It trended, yes, but not because of a dance. People liked being able to highlight their Polaroid love, even if it was their dog or something. It had a story component to it, on top of it being a good catchy song with the right vibe. It was something that everyone could kind of join in on, and the song is still popular to this day. A lot of people liken the popularity of Polaroid Love to that trend. Oh, and even though it trended on TikTok, I will say Polaroid Love is actually a shorter track, sitting at 3 minutes and 4 seconds. Really close to that 3 minute and 7 second mark that I talked about earlier. Interesting. So, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole. I was looking more into Spotify because I'm endlessly curious, and I was like, what is the deal with Spotify here anyways? Did you know they pay per stream? Not time listened to, stream. They pay per stream. I don't know what percentage it takes to get paid, but they pay per stream, whatever that means. Which makes so much sense because radio does the exact same thing, and radio was the predecessor to online streaming platforms. Literally, radio would pay royalties out to artists when they played their songs. So based on the number of plays that they had. But you're mixed in with all these other artists. You're not just repeating the same song over and over and over again. That's how you lose all your listeners. But now with the advent of the internet, streaming has changed that fundamentally. Everything always comes back down to money. I've learned, like, if you're like, wonder why that's happening, look at the flow of money. And so TikTok came around at the perfect time. People are also moving into short form content now. Like, there's a time on YouTube where long form content was pretty popular, and now it's kind of going down into short form content. Obviously, there's still people who prefer long-term content. Point is, things are getting shorter, music is getting shorter. And in terms of the music industry, TikTok and Spotify are both doing the same thing. Of course, other streaming platforms as well, I assume are similar. I haven't looked into it. That just makes so much sense. So my question, and I will ask this again at the end of the video because I've already filmed that, are songs going to get longer again? Is that just like is this just a trend? I don't know, because I feel like for it to be a good thing monetarily, they have to fundamentally change how streaming platforms pay out artists, because currently it makes way more sense for an artist to have a shorter song. You get more streams, the numbers look really good. There's literally only benefits to that. The only real downside is some of the stuff that I either have or will talk about relating to creativity and music videos and that kind of thing. Will that change? I don't know. Again, follow the money. And right now the money is saying shorter songs are in. Our entire world is dictated by money. And I don't know how I feel about that. So this trend towards shorter songs is obviously an intentional move by companies, because it helps spread the music further, as we've already established. Though I do feel like they don't necessarily know which songs will trend or not, and literally interacting with and creating something with these songs actually has the effect, I believe, of making people enjoy it more, although I have no source for that. But you know, since they have personal memories and like created something with that, they're associating it with that song, and thus it makes the song more memorable and more relatable. And honestly, I'm really happy that songs and artists themselves get more global recognition because of these things. This sort of marketing strategy really does make a difference. That's why it's a marketing strategy. Even if sometimes B-side songs trend without the company seeming to do so intentionally, which is a good thing because that means people are just genuinely enjoying the music. There's no negatives to that. I think it's undeniable that songs are getting shorter and the style of marketing and them promoting content is changing, but that's also just how things work and change with the times. Like I said, even though TikTok was the one that brought forth an advent of shorter content to such a degree that we literally got shorts on YouTube and like reels on Instagram, it was kind of already going towards that direction. I mean, think of Vine. Rest in peace, Vine. Now we've kind of got these apps all trying to push creators to get monetized through shorter content because of competition. Where there's competition, there's going to have some sort of money, and where money can be paid out, creators will come to share their content. That's just how it works. Everyone has preferences. And I mean, well, with TikTok leaning into longer content again, maybe this is just a trend and we will see it heading back to the other direction, longer form content, within the late 2020s. Who knows? For me personally, I prefer songs over 3 minutes and above. You cannot dissuade me from listening to a song just because it's like 5 minutes. I personally love the things that can be done with longer songs. And if those songs also get super long music videos. Well, I'm sure if you know me at all, you know that that is absolutely not a deterrent. Really, it's just the cherry on top. I do wonder, like, what the impact of shorter songs in general will have on those sorts of music videos going forward. Like, they can always pause the music to let the narrative sort of happen. In fact, that is what happened in, like, the Eternally music video, the really long one from TXT. But I find that recently they go with less of actually showing us the narrative and more just sort of hinting towards it, just very gently hinting towards it. They're suggesting what's happening in the story rather than showing us things that may be happening in their story, because now they have like web novels and stuff, which is a completely different discussion. But basically the music videos lean into the themes, but they don't necessarily go into details. But maybe that's just the last couple and it's like not really a trend. I don't know. All that is to say, what song length do you prefer and why? Do you think that my discussion here actually changed your mind or made you think about anything? And do you think that shorter songs are here to stay? Do you want them to stay? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Do you just think it's a thing? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this video is a little bit different from the videos that I usually make, but I've kind of been just trying to regain my enthusiasm for video creation and talking about things that I think are really interesting and that I think should be discussed. I do have some other videos that I've planned that feel a little bit similar to this one, so if that's something you're interested in, feel free to subscribe. And of course, if you like theories still, I'm not gonna stop making video theories about, you know, especially HYBE-focused groups. So if that's also something you're interested in and you've never seen me before, maybe also consider subscribing for that. Theories are definitely still a thing on my channel. I'm just trying to diversify and keep it really interesting for me as well. Of course, all of my social media is in the description below. I do spend most of my time on Twitter and recently TikTok, although it's more of a lurking on TikTok than it is posting on TikTok. Hopefully that will change in the future. Of course, I want to give a shout out to my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. I really couldn't do this without you. We have our own private Discord server where we just sort of chat about stuff that's going on both in the K-pop world and outside of the K-pop world. And sometimes, you know, they beta read, they see some of my scripts for me. So just thank you guys so much for being a constant source of motivation and just a really fun group of friends to chat with. If you want to join the Patreon garden, the link is in the description down below. As it is, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay sunny, everyone. Bye!